This is a rally in support of Ukraine, which was held on March the 6th in Almaty. It is one of the most massive rallies in the history of the city in recent years. More than 2,000 people took part in the protest. The rally was allowed by the authorities, and the police behaved in an extremely appropriate manner. However, after the protest in early March, the authorities of Kazakhstan decided not to give a permission for future rallies, and law enforcement officers started to behave more harshly, as for example at this protest in support of Ukraine. Having assumed neutrality since the beginning of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, Kazakhstan is trying not to go beyond it. But informally, Kazakhstan supports Ukraine. For instance, a military parade for the Victory Day on May the 9th had been cancelled. Kazakh activists are collecting humanitarian aid for Kyiv, and the state leader Kassym-Jomart Tokayev has repeatedly stated that he would not allow Russia companies to use his territories to bypass sanctions. And also he does not recognize the so-called Luhansk and Donetsk People's Republics, which are temporarily uncontrolled by Ukraine.
We do not recognize either Taiwan or Kosovo or South Ossetia or Abkhazia, and most likely this principle will be applied on the territory of quasi-state territories, which in our opinion are the Luhansk and Donetsk People's Republics.
The fourth consultative meeting of the Central Asian heads of states, which was held on July 2021 in the Kyrgyz city of Cholpon-Ata, showed that each of the 5 states of the region is forced to deal with the negative consequences of the Russian aggression against Ukraine even now. Tajikistan, for example, which borders Afghanistan and had considered a Russian military base on its territory as its main defense against military attacks, was faced with the question of whether Moscow could continue to perform these functions.
The Afghan problem should be in the focus of our constant attention. The events which are taking place in Afghanistan can have a negative impact not only on Central Asia, but they also may lead to changes in the geopolitical balance of power throughout the Eurasian continent.
As for Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan and Turkmenistan, they still have connections with Moscow. A lot of migrant workers who are immigrants from Central Asia work in Russia nowadays. However, Russia had ceased to be a comfortable partner because of the sanctions it suffers from. So many migrant workers have already left or are planning to do so, says the expert Ilyana Sterenko. To add, the events in Ukraine and the inability of the Russian army to demonstrate its success are playing against the Kremlin. And in these countries, the authorities also have begun to think about how to distance themselves from Russia.
Now it would be very bold to say that all ties with Moscow have been eliminated. But in the understanding of the leaders of Central Asia, Moscow no longer acts as such an absolute guarantor of security as it acted before.
According to Ilyana Sterenko, the change of the course by the countries of Central Asia will be gradual and will take from 5 to 10 years. But the changes are not so obvious so far, because the aggression against Ukraine has shown that any attempts to state their own position can turn out to be a reason for Russia to use its power or destabilize the situation in any country of the former Soviet Union. Reported by Diana Kolesnik, Natalia Bilokudrya, UATV News.